Hello and welcome to the All Night Gamers podcast, episode 29. It's the Switch's fourth birthday. First birthday. I keep saying first birthday. Happy fourth
Birthday.
birthday to the Nintendo Switch. Yay. We'll be talking
We
about
got a
that
little late.
in a little bit. And a bunch of other stuff. Thank you so much for joining us for this week on the show. Fourth birthday to Nintendo Switch. Mario Days happening right now. We'll be talking about that. Monster Hunter news, more stuff on the Meat themed DLC for Shovel Knight, like we talked about before, and of course we're getting new Switch rumors now. Now that the Pokemon games are out, we had to get extra Switch rumors to make sure that the level stays consistent. So hello, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. We're going to get right into this now. It is the fourth birthday of the Nintendo Switch. It does not feel that long ago. And it feels weird to reminisce too hard about it because... Yeah, for real. It feels weird to reminisce like super hard about it because it's just a electronic device. But nonetheless, it's 4 years. That's nuts.
Man, just think how 40-year-olds feel thinking about the NES this way.
Yeah, true.
No.
True.
Now that I think about it, these Switch Pro rumors are finally lining up to where they'd make sense. Because Nintendo console life cycles are usually pretty short, so 4 years, that's on the back nine.
Well, this one,
But they wanted to
I
extend
feel like
it
it's
so
going
they
to be
would put a
closer
Switch.
to the Wii.
Well, the Wii was 6 years.
It felt longer.
I know, right? But
The
there is
PlayStation 2 is 15.
yeah.
Although,
Console.
I think the Switch could reach that.
Oh, what if hot take, what if that's the reason why the Pokemon Legends Arceus had such a low frame rate? Because they're actually developing it for the Switch Pro, but they only have Switch footage so far, which causes the Chingling to be in 5 FPS.
Ooh, big brain.
What if they're doing it like Breath of the Wild?
Man, we should call up MatPat and tell him about these theories. These are spicy theories. But yeah, so 4 years of Nintendo Switch, so many good games. We'll be talking about our top 3 Switch games at the end of the show to celebrate it. And I also know that we're a week late on the birthday. I'm sorry, we had too many things to talk about last week.
Yeah,
so
many things.
But yeah, so we'll talk about our top 3 Switch games at the end of the show to celebrate that. It's also Mario Day. If you're listening to this episode the day it comes out, March 10th is officially Mario Day. So we have redone our tier lists for Mario, and we even used some complicated math this time to figure out their proper positioning on the tier list. So we'll go through our new rankings.
Yes, thank you, Grant, for figuring out the math for that.
I'm not gonna
very big brain.
I'm not gonna explain the algorithm here because this is a video game podcast and not a math podcast. But it worked pretty well. And our new tier list is just so much better. Mario 64 is not an S tier.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
I landed a solid bottom of C tier.
Get wrecked.
What stayed the same? Mario Galaxy 2 being Mario Galaxy 2 won top spot. It beat out Mario Galaxy 1. So but barely. So both Galaxy games, Mario Odyssey and Super Mario World, made S tier. Mario Sunshine
Obviously.
got booted out of S tier. It's an A tier now.
Boo! It's low A tier.
Yeah,
Which-
it's low A tier.
I haven't played 3D World or Bowser's Fury, but I'm fuming.
So yeah, 64 and Sunshine got booted out of S tier, but the other 4 games stayed in S tier. The order just changed. Mario 3 still top of A tier. I'm still a little salty about that. That's an S tier game. Mario Run made a solid F tier. It literally got the same position on everyone's chart, which was F, and the only game to make F. No Mario game made D tier, so the next step up from Mario Run is Mario 64.
That
which I'm sure makes a lot of people mad. We put literally
so controversial.
We literally put everything besides Super Mario Run above Mario 64. Like Mario 2, like the American Mario 2, Super Mario Land on Game Boy, Super Princess Peach above Mario 64.
Hey, don't diss Super Princess Peach. It's playable.
Like Mario 64.
Ouch. We're probably making so many people mad right now.
We're making so many enemies. Hi, thank you for listening to our podcast.
Hi, yes, thank you. I like enemies.
Mario 64 is bad. Embrace the truth.
I wouldn't say bad, just not good anymore.
That's
aged
fair.
poorly.
Yeah, aged so bad. It is.
You've got some pretty good levels still, but a lot of it's...
The slide one.
I would love a remake. Like a pure rebuild
DS,
from the...
but, with a controller.
People have been wanting that since like 2013.
They've wanted it forever.
To be fair, I think everyone's wanted every HD.
Yeah, if
Mario
you
game.
say, hey, do you want Zelda 1 HD remake? People would probably be like, yeah. So I don't.
Well, yeah, everybody wants that, but like people, like there's been so many fan makes of Mario 64 HD.
Oh, that's true.
Like, more than anything else is what I'm saying. Like, and the only reason it started in 2013 is because that was the first time that Nintendo had a console with HDMI on it. So that was when it would be considered an HD remake. But yeah, I don't know why they haven't done that. You'd think I
get why they didn't do it this time.
I was kind of hoping it would be on 3D All Stars because they made like the other two games look better. But they kept.
I feel like
it's an
Mario
easier
looks
graphical
better,
bump
guys.
to do a the GameCube or Wii, but even the GameCube, like if you compare Sunshine to Wind Waker knocks it out of the park.
Yeah.
Comparatively. But it was also sold by itself and as a HD remake.
You have to work harder when you've got only one game to carry.
Yeah, also cell shading hides imperfections really well, so Wind Waker is going to naturally look better on the same scale, just like unless you put a lot of extra work into the game that isn't cell shaded, because that's just the nature of the graphic style.
And that's why every game should be cell shaded.
That's
Please
a bad
don't,
argument.
I'm joking.
That's a
I'm
bad
joking.
argument.
I thought it'd be funny.
No, that's terrible.
I do still think that Nintendo really needs to like realize more how much money they're just leaving on the table by not just having a constant rotation of remasters of their more treasured games.
Fair, but they don't want to remaster games. They want to make new ones.
They want to make 7 new anime tactical RPGs.
Yeah, there's no reason for them to do that. They could make so much more money.
It's different teams. Like
the team on Mario should work faster.
Yeah, they don't because they want to make the game they want to make. Like I know Team 8 makes Animal Crossing in the Splatoon games.
Is there a reason that Bowser's Fury uses the 3D World's engine instead of using the superior Odyssey engine?
Yes, because 3D World is better. No, there's probably
not getting into that.
There's probably no reason besides
probably
the fact
because they
already
wanted
had
the
to scale
physics. They wanted the physics to feel the same as 3D World.
Oh, that's true. With the cat suit, because like they took their 3D World's engine and put it by itself in Mario Maker 2. Like the other 4 are really easy to just build it from that level and then 3D World's off on its own.
Oh, that's
yeah,
true,
like
that's
not
true.
like they're drastically different, but you know, like whenever you move between Mario games, the first little bit of you playing that new game takes you a bit of time to readjust slightly to the new physics because everything's different. Like Mario 3 and Mario World are my best example. Like going from one to the other, like the physics are just slightly different, and the same thing applies there. So you want to keep it the same with 3D World, so that way people that are hopping back and forth between the games don't get like, oh, why does this feel so different?
Yeah,
Well, and even on 3D All Stars, swapping back and forth between replaying Sunshine and replaying Galaxy was such a constant jolt that I eventually had to just like settle on one game because I didn't want to deal with it.
That's why in the original All Stars pack, they built everything in 3's engine.
Right.
But the problem with that is it kind of broke the earlier games.
Yeah.
Because it was a different physics engine and it wasn't designed for it.
Something interesting to note with 3D All-Stars, I was also alternating back between Sunshine and Galaxy a lot at one point just for completion's sake. And I found that as long as I used the GameCube controller when I went back to Sunshine, I didn't have to do the adjustments because it was like muscle memory. Like holding a GameCube controller just made me play a certain way.
That's fair.
As long as I didn't use the Pro controller, I wouldn't have to adjust. But if I tried both, then yeah.
Did you play after they fixed the camera, though?
Yes, it makes everything just so much better because now I can go back to my normal muscle memory and don't have to think about it and get very frustrated.
We made Sunshine. Cool. We didn't include the original camera at launch.
Bad.
Why?
Very bad. So yeah, that's really the only big change in our tier list. Mario 64 big demotion. Mario Sunshine small demotion.
Hold on, what was the last big one on the last one? Like number one?
Mario 64 went from S tier to bottom C tier. And now Sunshine is ahead of 64, obviously, because Sunshine is still an A tier. But in our original list, 64 was ahead of Sunshine, which was a big mistake.
Oh, I did find what I was looking for. Okay, on the last one, Galaxy 1 was first, and on this one, Galaxy 2 is first.
Yeah, Galaxy 2 beat it out. With a nearly perfect score on the algorithm. Nearly perfect, like incredibly close.
Yeah, they're both also really close as well. Like, both of them have near perfect.
Yeah. Not even a question. I mean, which I expected.
They're Galaxy 1 and 2.
I do like a lot more that this new one we did is based on math and not just based on what we feel like where it should go based on what we said.
Yeah, no, the math works a lot better.
Yeah.
The math makes more sense too.
Yeah.
Because we basically had to argue what we thought after, like,
instead of just putting numbers to them all, yeah.
So like if
you go ahead.
Well, like with the last one, I do think we actually did argue some of them, and that's why placements were shifted. I honestly do think we gave 64 the edge because it was the first 3D Mario game, and then we all played it for 3D All Stars and realized how poorly it aged.
Yeah.
No, we were all like, it's 64. You can't put it lower.
You can't put it lower.
We were wrong.
We were wrong. I put it below Mario Run.
You put it near the top because it's the first 3D Mario.
Yeah,
and
that's
now it has
probably
been
the hottest
because it's the first 3D Mario.
Nailed it, man.
I can't believe you put it below Mario Run, Cameron. That's low. Literally and metaphorically.
It was deserving.
No, it wasn't.
Stone cold, dude. Stone cold.
Cameron, just because you're bad at games doesn't mean you should.
Got him.
Wow.
You got him, Cooper.
Yeah, there's some leftover anger from us doing these tier lists last night. We also did one for Pokemon that we're not going to get into right now because it's not Pokemon's turn. And there's also a lot more cringe involved in those Pokemon tier lists. But yeah, there's still just a little bit of salt left over.
And I mean,
cringe.
I'm sure that the Zelda one we're going to remake using the math at some point, and the consoles or whichever one.
It's only a matter of time.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
Like, it works.
So yeah, you should totally comment on the YouTube video and tell us what your favorite Mario game is for Mario Day.
Tell us why you're unfollowing because we ranked 64 low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please come tell us.
Please
We'd
don't
love to hear
unsubscribe from my
you.
channel.
Ouch.
We'd love to hear you come say on the YouTube comments, man, y'all are cringe for ranking Mario
Man, y'all are
64.
cringe.
Like I need to be told that anymore.
Your Mario.
If you do that, we'll like your comment.
If
Heart it.
we'll
I didn't say
also talk a little bit more about some Mario games during our collector's corner. You're gonna love the alliteration we got this time. But we got one more thing to
It
talk
is
about.
our best one yet.
So the
Guaranteed.
Monster Hunter Directs that were announced a couple weeks ago are going on. First one was today as of this recording. And they will be done before this podcast goes live. But basically the gist is Monster Hunter Rise is a Monster Hunter game on the Nintendo
Monster Hunter
Switch.
Stories 2
That is
is a Monster Hunter game
on Nintendo Switch.
and PC.
And PC. There's new amiibo for Monster Hunter Stories 2.
They're also exclusive to GameStop and EB Games and
They
whatever.
are very boring amiibo. IMO anyway. But they are coming, and another Monster Hunter Rise demo is coming back with Magnamolo this time, so that's exciting. I will for sure try it, although I can guarantee, based on what we talked about a couple weeks ago, or possibly last week, that it's still just a Monster Hunter game.
It is a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah, that's really all we have to say about that. It's Monster Hunter.
It's Monster Hunter, guys. I do think I kind of like the Ina amiibo.
I don't know, man. They're
But-
just like I like the set with Rise because they're like, especially the Palico. That's like Monster Hunter characters, but like I don't know. Maybe it's just Monster Hunter Stories. I'm really not into. So that probably also has something to do with it.
That's fair.
Yeah. But those amiibo are coming and exclusive to GameStop, which I'm sure you wanted to hear as an amiibo collector, because dealing with GameStop is so much fun.
I mean, it's better than exclusive to another country.
Facts.
Which there have been.
No, it's more like Europe and Japan looking at us because we got Silver Mario.
Japan has like 8 that are exclusive.
Those are trophies.
I'm not
Oh.
talking about the trophies.
We're talking about the cards.
And with one fell swoop, I have sparked a harsh conversation between the two amiibo collectors, not being an amiibo collector myself.
Alex,
Speed
6
run.
Monster Hunter amiibo, QB, 6 Konami cards. CP is
Ladies and gentlemen, this man is pulling this from his head. He is not looking at a statistical sheet. This man pulled it from his head.
It's literally on the screen. It's Mario 3D World.
Yeah,
We need a.
this man
we need a
has that
reaction.
knowledge on tap.
We need a reaction image that's just the math meme around his head, but it's all amiibo.
It's all-
Yes,
Yes.
I agree. I
It'd
will
be
pose
so
for
hard to
that.
make, though.
But I will pose for that.
I could try it.
Cameron, you need to do a amiibo list speedrun based on memory, just like recording yourself
Oh.
listing every amiibo from memory.
God.
I'd have to do it live. Because I tried to do that with a Pokemon once, and I was like, wait, this makes no sense. How am I supposed to prove that I'm doing this off the top of my head?
If y'all would like to see that, let us know.
Did you know
I might just
that
do it
I
for
can
the hell
say
of it.
all 50 states' names in the quarter of a second?
Don't you dare.
I'm worried.
Go ahead.
Ah! Isn't it impressive?
There you go.
Stolen directly from Family Guy, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, moving on to the
We'll be here all
collector's
night.
corner for the week. Alliteration ready. It's Mario, period. Because that's Mario's canonical name is Mario.
According to the movie.
Well, not just according to the movie at this point, right?
It's
It started with the movie, though.
Mario's full name is Mario, and it's Mario Day, so it's Mario corner.
Mario.
So this is the weekly segment where we go around and talk about the games that we've been playing this week and any pickups we have, if any, and other collector stuff like that. And we're also going to talk about the Mario game that each of us has played, or the moment when playing a game, or something like that, where when you first realized how good Mario is, like how good the Mario series is, how monumental it is, and things of that nature. So, I'll go first this week. I've played a lot of Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War Zombies.
Wait a second.
What?
Nothing.
It's a really good zombies mode. They finally stopped doing that cringe stuff from Black Ops 3. So it's worth a shot. I broke out my NES for some reason because I felt like it, and played some Tecmo Bowl and Mario Brothers 2. I know that's random. Played Minecraft for like 30 minutes today.
Yeah, I saw that.
Nice.
And I think that's about it. I feel like maybe a little more God of War on PlayStation. I also discovered that my Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Pro controller that I got at a GameStop used for like $30. The reason that someone returned it used is because they spilled something onto it. So that's what I spent some of my free time today doing. The left trigger started sticking, so I had to take it apart, and I found like dried soda. Like, you know when soda dries and it just becomes like a thick goo? Like,
yeah.
Basically was that. It seemed like they cleaned a lot of it up before they returned it to make it look like it was fine. But my left joystick, it also stuck every now and then for like weird reasons, and that was why there was still a little bit left on the inside of that, so I had to clean that out. Disgusting.
To be fair, a little bit of cleaning
for $30 rare controller. Yeah, I mean, even trade, like I'm fine with that, but I had to realize that today, like, oh, that's gross. And I've owned this controller for like 3 years now, so that's been sitting there for 3 years without me knowing.
They just sort of tossed that.
Yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, I dealt with that. So I think for my game, I think is definitely Mario Galaxy. I've talked about this before, but Mario has no business having soundtracks that are like emotionally moving. It's always supposed to be like happy, upbeat jazz kind of stuff, or like theatrical, like to play along. But like Mario Galaxy's music is so good. Like the orchestral soundtrack is some of the most beautiful music that I've heard. And when I both when starting the game and when ending the game, when that huge like overture just like blasts out and shows like the vastness and like the overall scope of the game, the emotions that it fills you with, like the wonder, is so good. I have not experienced that with another Mario game since. It came close with Jump Up Superstar and Mario Odyssey. That New Donk City segment, that's also a super good musical segment. But
it's good for a different reason.
Yeah, Mario Galaxy was also like the first Mario game when I finally got I had like an itch to go back. Like usually Mario games I just play because like that was one of the only games I had with systems growing up. But by the time that I played Mario Galaxy, that was like the first time I like wanted to like go back and keep playing it, even though I had other things to play.
You have Luigi's Galaxy.
Yeah. And it's just so, that's when I was like, wow, this series is nuts. So that's definitely my entry is Mario Galaxy. Cameron, you go ahead.
So this week, I've actually played more games than I would have thought, just because it's still trying to fully adjust to work because working. I played some Persona 3, some Persona 5 Strikers, Animal Crossing, obviously. I played some Smash with y'all. So this past week that Mythra Empire released. we didn't even mention that. But yeah, they played them, tried them out. Very fun.
Oh yeah,
Been
duh.
playing.
I totally just didn't even think about that. Yeah,
It didn't register because we played them.
I mean they're fine. Anime sword fighters, just another one, but they're not bad, for sure.
Let's see what else have I been playing. 3D World on the Switch, and I did the Tetris 99 event. Yeah, that's a lot of games for working 40 hours a week and having to drive over an hour every day. So let's see. When I realized the Mario series was so monumental, see, I want to mention something about Odyssey, but I already knew it was good by that point. That's why I put, I 100%ed that in the first week it was out. Like, I guess when Alex and I got our Mario DSs,
Did those come with new?
Those came with new Super DS, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We got to play the multiplayer together, and arguably it's still some of the most fun I've had, like, with the multiplayer Mario's, just because it's properly designed to face off. It's not, where you're having to throw people off and losing the level. Like, you actually get to fight.
Please be a jerk.
All of them are be a jerk.
Yeah, new Super DS is definitely a acceptable submission, I think. That was crazy good when it came out. Especially the multiplayer. I totally agree with that. Well, okay. Mayo.
So I'm gonna change it up a little bit this week because I'm sure that you guys and the listeners are getting sick of me saying I don't play games that much on a video game podcast, or at least not games of the video game variety. So I'm going to go over the non-video game stuff that I've been doing, like usual, and then I'm going to basically say I'm going to play this game at some point between now and next week's episode recording. And then next week, I can talk about it. And maybe that'll get me to, actually play video games some. So, as far as my non-video game gaming, I'm currently sort of refreshing 2 of my Magic the Gathering Commander decks. They've needed a bit of an overhaul over the past, half year of sets. And they've kind of stagnated in how good they are. So, I bought some more cards, and I'm going to redo the math to have the ratio between the lands that make the mana and the stuff that uses the mana, get that right. I've been painting some Warhammer. I'm almost done with a unit that I've been sitting on for a while, and then once that's done, I'm going to be priming my Blood Bowl team and varnishing the 40k unit and the characters from Engines of Madness that I finished painting last week. As far as video games, before I set the goal of playing one, bad news, the Skyrim binge is no longer because something is messed up with my root files, and it would take me a day's worth of troubleshooting to see which mod messed it up, so it's just quicker for me to give up on it unless I find a day's worth of free time. So, 07... to Lurksfin Shallows. That was my Argonian.
What great advice, dude. Freaking, I have this problem, and it would take more time to fix than it would take time to just not fix it.
Look, impressionable viewers, just remember, give up.
Yeah, give up takes 0 time. Doing anything besides that takes more than 0 time. So...
just lay in bed until you die.
That got depressing fast.
If you love something, you gotta let it go. and this Skyrim save must go, unfortunately. So I'm going to keep the stuff installed on the off chance that I find a day worth of free time where I can do all the troubleshooting, and maybe that'll come along soon. Maybe it won't.
Well,
It is quite unfortunate.
Well,
gigantic
Skyrim
F
save
in
is
the chat.
stinky.
Yeah, a gigantic F in the chat.
It's a shame we're not on spring break like we're supposed to be. Then you could do it now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice, huh?
That's true. And then as far as, let's see, I'm staring at all of the icons for the games that I have on my system. I'm thinking, because there's a few story-driven games that I should probably wrap up or get further into. I'm going to try to play some of The Witcher 3, some of Hades, or some of, I don't know, Subnautica, I guess. So those are the 3 for this week. We'll be checking back next week to see if I was able to, and if I was, what kind of time I had on them.
And if you don't, we feed you to the lions?
Yes.
Gotta order some
Acceptable.
lions.
Order some lions. Hey,
All he
Bezos,
has
ship
to
me
do
some
is
lions,
play
bro.
one game for like a minute, and we won't feed him to lions.
Watch me not even do that.
Sad.
Yeah, well,
Order the lions.
death is very tempting, so I can see just maybe what if I just don't?
And then as far as realizing how much of a big boy the Mario franchise is, I was trying to think of a more verbose word, but I couldn't, and now I'm stuttering. I would have to say it's either Galaxy or, and it's with respect to Galaxy, it's probably a combination of the soundtrack, realizing how big of a deal it was when, like, you know, the reveal happened for it, and the in-store demos started coming out in Walmart, and people were swarming around them and going like, Mario's in space, and it was a big deal. But if I had to go with something besides that, I think it would be a realization when I was going through my sister's old NES games, and she was showing me them. And at that point, I had been playing the port of Mario 3 onto the Game Boy Advance, and I had been playing, I want to say at that point, New Super Mario Bros. On the DS. But then she had this monster of a cartridge that made a very audible ka-chunk when you put it into the console, and it was completely flat, like 4 colors on the screen, and then realizing like, oh yeah, my sister was born in the early 80s. Oh my gosh, this has been a thing since the
Early 80s.
Wow.
Wow.
That's long. So I think the realization of like, okay, it has to be special if it has lasted that long. Now, there's things that have lasted that long that are not special in gaming and otherwise. But realizing, like, you know, the formula has stayed the same. It's just gotten more and more large on the front as far as scaling, where it's like, okay, yeah, this is really monumental for a platformer in the 80s, but then, you know, I go to the Walmart and people are like, Mario's in space. That connection from the 80s up until present day, I think that sort of cemented it in my mind as the bastion of the industry that it continues to be. So yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, I remember I also grew up playing the GBA port of Mario 3, and then the first time I saw it running on an NES, I was like, wow, this game used to look terrible.
Yeah. And the blue bar on the side of it on the auto-scroller levels, I was, oh.
It's on every level, the way that they design the levels to be at the same size of the screen so you can see it loading. Also, the NES has such few voices on its voice thing that it can't do like multiple instruments and play like coin sounds and item pickout sounds.
You could make the bass line like stop, basically.
Yeah, it would either like one of the two treble voices would cut out or the bass voice would cut out because it has to stop and do like a chicken count when you get a
Yeah.
coin or whatever. Like, wow,
Classic.
this used to be bad.
Yeah. But it was still good. It was just as good then as it is to us, or was to us in the late aughts.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like it. Only looked bad. Like it still played the same. So,
Right.
yeah, I totally get that. Cooper.
All right, so what? Okay, so I've been playing, Fire Emblem Heroes like the usual, Dragon Quest 2, Smash Bros. Tetris 99, the Bowser's Fury event, and I recently have started The World Ends With You, and Alice was like, you should try it out. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try it out. And it's actually a really good game, and I've really enjoyed it.
Oh crap! I forgot that I started that too.
World Ends With You.
Mm-hmm.
I have not played that, but I've heard a lot of things about it. It's just one of those games like I haven't touched, but I know it's like nuts.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. I've enjoyed it.
Sick.
And then the Mario. So mine would have to be New Super Mario Bros. Wii. Not because of like any like crazy graphics or anything, but mostly because of the memories that I really got a lot from it. I played with my brothers and sister, and I was able to enjoy it and everything. And I would always have to play as Yellow Toad, and like it honestly, like it and Mario 3D World bring back some really good memories, just because like joking around with each other and throwing each other around and like getting each other killed. It's what made it really fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of not because anything in the game specifically, but just because your experience with the Mario game it tops your list of experiences with video games.
Oh yeah,
that's some good evidence. I think I like that. All right, Alex, finish us off.
Okay, so this past week, I've had a lot of time, but it will be a much freer week than compared to the next 2 weeks. But I only realistically played this last week I did the Smash thing with y'all and played Myther and Pyra and had a really good time playing them. And I played and beat ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, The Prophecy of the Throne.
That's a long title.
It is, because the first half of it is the anime title, and the Throne of the Prophecy specifically the game
title. I started recording that for the channel. I think it takes up like the whole text box.
Wow.
I generally thought, though, because I'd looked into it, it was like, yeah, it will be around 15 hours. I was like, cool, I can beat that. I'll be able to use my free time for other things. No, it took me close to 23 to beat it.
Dang.
And it's a visual novel, so I'm not really sure where that 8-hour discrepancy comes in.
Probably if you know what you're doing and are just like not taking time on anything, you're just running through it. I think usually when it comes to like time to beat on things, like especially looking it up, I usually add 5 to 10 hours to it. If it's my first playthrough, just because.
That's a good idea, but it's a visual novel.
Yeah, that's still a little stumpy. I don't know what's up with that.
But I had a pretty good time, and it had some good twists. But it made sense since it's written by or produced, I don't remember. But the guy who wrote the original series was heavily involved.
Oh, cool.
With this game. As for the first Mario thing, I think being a kid, I'd played 64 at our uncle's, and we owned a 64 and played Mario Kart on it. it was realistically the GameCube though when I realized it, where there's like it's Sunshine and Double Dash on it, but you also had Strikers and golf and tennis.
And party.
And yeah, and tons of party games. And you would go, but like I would go over to friends' houses, and they would have different games for Mario. And I think that's what, like compared to what we had at home, and I think that's what dawned in my head that it was Mario's this huge thing.
I came close. I remember with Mario World really back in the day. The only reason I didn't select that like when I was young is because I didn't really make the connection like, oh, this series is cool. I just thought World was cool because once I discovered what Star Road was, I just was like I can't even think of the word, like stunned, I guess. And it's not that special. Like it's just a secret area with really hard levels at the end of the game. Like that's kind of like a staple. But when I was a kid, like I just thought that was really cool. I really like the music in it too.
World's also cool because it has like secrets everywhere.
Yeah, I loved playing the secret level behind the ghost house with the power-ups in it just like 50 times in a row because it was like such a dopamine rush of constantly getting power-ups even though I wasn't using them at all. I just keep going back in and collecting them over and over again.
Look, it gives you a happy sound effect when you get power-ups.
It was like drugs before a kid, just like infinite Mario power-ups. I'll take that. Favorite level.
There's a room like that in my favorite Kirby game, and I completely understand what you mean. Just here's all of the stuff that you usually have to hunt down on a level. Just take your pick, kid. Take all of them.
What's your favorite Kirby level or Kirby game? Not level.
Having not played too many of the 2D platformers, it is Kirby Squeak Squad.
Okay, I know what you're talking about then. Yeah, it's a DS game, right?
Yeah, the mice are kind of doofy, like, villains, but, you know, it runs super well. I think the levels are very well designed.
Also, in that secret level in Mario World, if you were riding Yoshi already, it gave you 1-ups, which was, like, even better. Just give me all those
better
1-ups.
Sound effects.
Yeah, more sound effects. Well, okay, that wraps up Mario for the week. We hope you Mario'd your Mario and play Mario on your Mario.
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 It's like the TurboTax commercial, but with Mario instead of free. Okay, so now onto the tidbits for the week. Cooper, you have Faye Seg.
All right. Yep. So we got some weekly rivals and focus banners, and a huge positive with the seasonal refunds is that, you know, starting with Halloween Noe, is that we'll be able to see other seasonals more commonly, which is gonna be really cool to see, like, you know, like Christmas seasonals, but in like June. That'll be pretty cool.
Heathen.
We got the Seas of Folden banner with Ingrid, Marianne, Ledoux, and 4-star Demo Linhart. So, you know.
I got all of them.
So did I.
Heathen too.
Imagine spending, or couldn't be me. And then Dua Lin won a Hero Rises 2021 voting gauntlet, and she'll be given out for free to everybody starting March 11th. All you gotta do is log in. And yeah, that's it.
Okay then. Well, moving on with the rest of the tidbits. The PlayStation Store will stop selling rentals for movie and TV shows and things of that nature. I saw several polls around that were like 12% of the people that responded to the poll used that service, like used the PlayStation Store to rent movies or TV series.
One thing that would have helped it is if you could connect it, like with the ones you bought, to Movies Anywhere, so that you could access it on the other things like Vudu and iTunes and stuff like that have joined that service.
Yeah,
PlayStation.
I mean, it makes sense. am kind of enjoying that video game consoles are now stepping back a little bit from being streaming boxes.
Oh no, I absolutely agree. I'd rather them be consoles like Nintendo
Yeah.
things.
Well, really, just not end up like the original idea of the Xbox One.
That's what I was going to bring up.
That was like peak
Yeah, people are like
media box plus
We're
game console. Like PS4
moving
was a
towards
little bit
media
like that,
box.
but Xbox One was trying to be like that. Like that was their goal. So.
That's how they initially marketed it. They did it.
It has, yeah.
People are like, we're still moving towards that media box, and I'm like, I don't think so. Maybe Microsoft is, but Nintendo's against it, and Sony's
Nintendo
kind of pulling
has like
back.
2 streaming services on the Switch.
Well, they've got the Funimation,
and
YouTube,
they've got the
and
comic
Hulu.
book thing. I think.
The
What
well,
comic
like
book thing?
it's they also have YouTube and Hulu, but I like it's fine to have like basic stuff like YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, like because there's like a one-off chance you're gonna use it, you're like gonna need it, and that's fine. But like making it a big thing is uncomfortable. Like I think the Switch should have Netflix, because there's no point for it not
That's
to.
Actually on Netflix to do though.
Yeah, I'm not blaming Nintendo or anything. I'm just saying like the Switch should have Netflix because it just like it's got everything else like the basic trifecta of streaming services.
It is weird that Netflix has not done the jump yet.
Yeah, like it's
Maybe they don't want to support it though.
But
why not?
Because like I think they haven't stopped it on anything except the Wii yet. Like
They stopped it on the wasn't it on the 3DS or was that just YouTube?
Netflix
then
was
have they
back
stopped
on
it
the
on the
3DS.
3DS?
I don't know if
Okay,
they had.
then-
YouTube has.
It also stopped on the Wii U.
All right. Like Netflix tries to push this idea of they will keep continuing the service on everything they release it on. Obviously that's not true, but they like to keep the illusion. So putting it on the Switch would mean they'd have to keep up that illusion for a while. Especially with how it's selling like Wii numbers.
Well, like
Y'all are just unaware of the unlimited streaming hack.
I mean, yeah, you can just turn your Switch into an Android.
Well, no, not that. This is a wholly separate thing that Mary and I figured out about Google Play of all things. So basically, there's this app that you can get on the Play Store where Google will like survey you, and like Google's already gathered like terabytes of data on every living thing on Earth, probably. So I don't mind it.
oh, the
but
Google Play rewards.
Yeah, and it'll
I
be
love
like,
that.
did you go to this place that was geographically near a place where we saw you were? And you can be like, yes, or you can be like, no. And it's just a random amount of like 11 to like 60 or 70 cents that they give you. And it expires after like a year or so. So at this
I've
point,
gotten over $1 at one point.
I've gotten $30 in it right now. So if I want to
Nice.
rent something on Google Play and it's not on any of the streaming services, okay, big deal. We got Google Pay for Google.
Google Pay for
Hey,
Google. No, you pay Google with your data instead of money.
Yeah, but
Right.
I'd rather get money for it than not, which is already happening.
Yeah,
I
fair
tried
enough.
that thing though, and I would never get like any.
It's because you have
Oh,
to go
Lord.
places.
You have
which
to
is
you have
the
to do
problem,
things, Alex. You have to exist as a person.
Unfortunately.
I know it's hard. It's really hard. Going outside sucks.
Existing as a person or dying.
Or just existing as an empty husk. Yeah.
Which
Just
sounds
exist or
weird.
existing as a
God, we
person.
are depressing. We are a depressing podcast.
Hey, look, we aren't completely depressed all the time. You got a job.
To be fair, I'm trying to tell
You
jokes.
You
Here,
should have a
not-
job by the time this podcast is out.
Let's only hope.
I'm trying to tell depressing jokes, not really mean them.
Yeah, I know. Like, we're not actually like sulking in our own mental filth here, but
Well,
still,
sometimes.
I don't know. It depends on the moment.
It depends on the day and how
the
much
only
work
mental filth on here
I'm
is our video game
falling
opinions.
behind
not-
on.
Not during the podcast, though.
Yeah.
Podcast is happy time.
Anyway, Speaking of PSN, Ratchet and Clank, like the PS4 game, is currently free on PSN as of this recording. It should be free when this episode goes live, so you should definitely go snag that. It's a good game, at least from what I hear. It's not bad for sure. Definitely worth the free price.
You cannot
so
be
go
free.
snag that before it stops being free. Especially if you're looking into getting the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart or whatever that title is that's coming up. It'll be a good. You can play that before the new game, so you get the story, quote unquote. If that's
And it's by
important.
Insomniac, and they're good.
Yeah. Mediatonic, the creators of Fall Guys, have officially joined Epic Games.
They posted a was it? I might have seen Devolver's stuff. Like, obviously they're happy for him, but I gotta agree with you. I don't know how that's going to affect them.
Does Devolver not? Well, wait.
Was Devolver just a publisher, or were they actually like?
No way. I think they're a dev.
No, Devolver is both, right?
Yeah, but like
Nintendo.
I mean, is Mediatonic really that much of a piece of their operations? Like
right now, maybe.
Yeah, for the game, but like Devolver was just publishing it, I believe. But it's weird. I think they just published it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, has Devolver published a lot of Mediatonic games? Like, does Mediatonic not be a thing anymore?
I don't know.
I think it was just Fall Guys.
So it probably doesn't affect them that much. It sucks that Devolver doesn't... Well, Devolver still has some stuff to do with Fall Guys because they're still the publisher, even though Mediatonic is part of Epic Games now. That doesn't change the fact that they're still the publisher, so I don't really think it affects them that much. Devolver's also a pretty strong dev, so
yeah. Look, you don't just have your own E3 show for.
Yeah, like you can tell they're strong because they have a super high budget for E3. They allocate a large budget just for E3,
and yet I still rank their first one as their best one.
Yeah, their one this past year was definitely better than their second one. But yeah, the first one was tops. That one was super vulgar and hilarious.
But it was actually still pretty funny. Like the last two haven't been all that funny, and I'm like, I know y'all can be funny.
I know you.
So where's the funny?
Guy poking the world.
You forgot the
be
funny. Oh, good. So I know everyone listening was really anticipating the update on the meat themed DLC in Shovel Knight. The codes have all been revealed now. I'm not going to list the codes here because they're a little complicated, but I'm sure you can just do a quick Google search to find them if you really want to see. There's a code that gives you burger beetles and drink propeller rats. There's a code that replaced the word shovel and the word night with burger, which I thought it was replaced with meat. But it might be
Burger.
Yeah, so burger and shield burger, because the screenshot we saw when we were talking about it, it said meat and shield meat, which is why we called it meat themed DLC. But
which it still technically is. Burgers are meat. Probably.
Shield Knight replaced with burger in Dreams. So like at the campfires at the end of levels. There's a code for food taunts, RB food taunts. There's a code for a burger fairy. There's a code for the health items being RB items. There's a code to give King Knight an Arby's hat. And there's a code that does all of those things at once. So why wouldn't you just input that last one? I will give that last one. It's capital Arby's with an ampersand between the A and the R. All the other codes are similar to that with different stuff at the end, but you can do a quick Google search if you want to do those. But there's no point in doing just one. You might as well do all of it with that code there. So
true.
Meat themed DLC. Yeah, that'll sure is a lot. That's meat. You could play as a burger knight. Atlas has posted a survey asking what games people want and where, including stuff like a new Persona Rhythm game, Persona 5 Arena, and Persona 6. What do they mean by where? Like, in what region?
Oh, like Switch and PS5 and PS4.
Oh, like platform.
And Steam.
Okay, platform.
Yeah.
Got it.
I put PS4, PS5, and Switch.
Yeah. I think PC should always be an option. PC is the great accumulator of video game platforms. Super Nintendo World in Japan has got a new launch date of March 18th. The official opening day now, unless something else changes if they go into another lockdown or whatever.
Which is exactly what happened in February.
Yeah, so barring another issue, they're opening on March 18th.
Maybe that's why Sakurai didn't mention anything major, because he didn't know if things would still be progressing as they should be.
Well, I mean, you could probably bet they'd be progressing, because Japan is one of those countries that actually listens to science. Anyway, no politics. Resident Evil Village will be heavily censored in Japan. Apparently, there's one of the regulation companies over there prevents
Zero, which is their ESRB.
Yeah, they prevent extreme gore in terms of like dismemberment and decapitation and things like that, which apparently is in Resident Evil Village, so that will be censored.
It's great. I thought it was that they forbade 9-foot tall women.
Well, they also did a little bit.
Oh.
There's like, so what Alex was telling what Alex was telling me before the show is in Last of Us Part 2 in Japan, they censored the sex scene. They removed the sex scene from the game. And Dimitrescu is like a walking sex scene. So
she'll be in the game, but there's got to be something
but
about
there's probably
her.
something mega horny that she does that's going to be taken out.
Yeah.
So basically, if you're a YouTuber, you should record that scene and somehow avoid getting banned from YouTube for it, because you'll get lots of views as everyone that can't view it on their own system comes to your video.
To be horny. Yes.
But you can't post it on Pornhub anymore, so.
But we didn't really get a lot of detail on if Dimitrescu stuff will be banned or not. But it was mentioned that like stuff about like there are certain scenes that they mentioned that will be banned, but they didn't say which scenes or describe them because they didn't want to spoil anything. So, but they did say stuff like there's decapitation and body dismemberment of a humanoid figure, which is not allowed by them. So that will be censored and or removed. So this game is about to be freaky. And I'm excited.
So knowing those criteria, in Japan, is the opening of Skyrim just like they just don't show the guy getting beheaded?
That's a great question.
I'm gonna check something.
Because there's two important decapitations in Skyrim.
The question is, does Japan care as much about Skyrim?
I mean, that's true.
I don't think I'd be able to find the info, but I feel like it'd be really well known if so in 7 Ethan loses his hand, which happens at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah.
I don't think the scene was censored in Japan though. I feel like it would have blown up when Resident Evil 7 was the big thing. So it must be worse than that.
Huh.
Well, yeah, like by dismemberment, I don't like he loses his hand
and his leg if you get caught by Jack during that first segment.
Yeah, but if you by dismemberment, it's probably gonna show like people like actively taking apart an entire body and like doing disgusting things with the parts, or like doing sorcery, weird stuff, summoning Satan, something like with the blood of this guy's leg or whatever. So who knows? And it's probably like there's probably like going to take the eyes out or do something gross with the tongue, or like they're gross. Like the part of the scare is how gross it is. So it certainly has to be very disgusting.
Well, I know I'm the only one who's played it, but 3 already had some pretty disgusting scenes that make me want to vomit.
I have yet to play. I need to play the remake of that.
Yeah. It's mainly just the spider stuff, but I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it's nasty for sure. Anyway,
I wouldn't be,
or you go.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if it was magic stuff, since she's like a vampire, and we know wolves are in the game since all the promotional images show Chris half his face is a wolf and half of it's Chris.
Great. Now we have 9-foot tall women and furries, and rather than like, great.
What an interesting game this is going to
be. Yeah, I'm kind of excited now. This like censoring thing kind of makes me want to play it more. That's interesting how that works. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remastered, I hope you wrote that down, has been rated by the ESRB as M, so it's coming soon.
Yeah, very soon.
Apex on Switch drops before this podcast goes live. And it has been revealed how it runs. And it's bad. Apex Legends runs docked 720p. Handheld 576p. 30 FPS. Both handheld and docked. Which honestly, I wasn't expecting much better. I was expecting 720p in both docked and handheld, but I guess that's my fault because they obviously wouldn't do that. But like,
was it
576p? 576p is standard definition in Europe. Like SD, not HD, but like back in the day when you buy a TV that says SD, standard definition. That's what standard definition is in Europe, is 576. So this is about to look bad. This is about to look bad. And I'm going to be playing it on a 1440p screen. So stretching 720/30 to a 27-inch 1440 screen, this is about to look terrible.
What do you mean you're going to be playing it on your Switch? Aren't you going to play it on PC?
I'm going to download it on Switch because I have to see. Can I play
How
Apex
bad
on
you
the
gotta
toilet?
see the horror.
Can I play it on the toilet? That's the goal here.
I mean, you could play your PC one on the toilet if you tried hard enough.
Yeah, but
mirrors,
I'm not trying to put an effort into this.
Like,
I'm not trying to be like, oh, I have to poop. Give me 20 minutes to set up my computer rig in the bathroom. Like, let me go plug in my monitor and like run a 50-foot HDMI cord over there. Like, no, I'm just trying to be an immediate thing here. I don't have time for that. Remember when that was a meme? Ain't nobody got time for that? No? Okay, silence.
I do remember it.
I wasn't sure what you
just
were
don't want
to.
Yeah, I catch myself
2010s memes.
I catch myself doing that a lot. I say a thing and I'm like, oh yeah, that used to be a meme. Like 10 years ago.
God, we're old.
Yeah, no kidding.
I still feel weird when I say "what are those" for something completely unrelated to weird shoes. and now, honestly, that I'm thinking about it in this mind frame, I'm worried that I'm gonna see Among Us dudes like 15 years from now.
I saw a meme that was like 67-year-old me remembering that fat cartoon bunny from 2018. And it was the laughing scene from Breaking Bad where you're like, they're just on the floor, like cackling really loud laughing. So good. So, on to our finishing topics. We're going to talk about the Switch rumors real quick and then move on to our top 3 Switch games for the anniversary. So, of course, there's new Switch rumors. There's always Switch Pro rumors. It's a staple pretty much online. But new sources have come out saying that the Nintendo Switch Pro will use a 7-inch OLED screen made by Samsung. This is from Bloomberg. And they saw that Nintendo was kind of already looking into this OLED tech with Samsung, similar to how they were looking into mini LED tech with other companies. So it'll be bigger than the current normal Switch's screen by almost an inch. So the current normal screen size for the regular Switch is 6.2 inches. So 7-inch is 0.8 inches bigger. And so it's not drastically bigger, but that's basically if the Switch didn't have bezels, which is a big issue. Like, a lot of people just didn't really want a bigger screen. They just wanted no bezels. So if you replace the bezels with screen, that's kind of what you're getting. So it would be that, and it would be OLED, so it'd be more power efficient. The contrast would be better. They say that Samsung is believed to be starting mass production of these panels in June, and will start shipping to assemblers around July. And there's also the same thing for 4K HDR. But they don't talk about it the same way as the other rumors have, with like DLSS and NVIDIA upscaling in the dock. The screen, mind you, on the Switch is still reported to be 720p. It'll just be, so it's most likely going to be upscaled to 4K through the dock through 1080p.
Which is fine.
I mean, yeah, that's fine. I don't know. I want to know where Bloomberg is hearing this stuff.
But,
like, how do they find out that Samsung's making these screens?
Yeah,
and how do we know that they're going to the Switch?
It's a very specific time schedule too. Like, where are you getting that?
Yeah, like, do you have an insider? I mean, I'd much more believe that you're going to have an insider at Samsung over Nintendo, because Samsung probably doesn't have as strict of NDA stuff. Especially, it's probably also a lot easier to leak news from Samsung. But it's rumored to launch in time for the holidays of this year, which that's hard to believe because we've heard that before.
Right.
We've been hearing that basically since launch.
Yeah, since 2018. Which those rumors were right, just also wrong. Like, new Switches came out, but they weren't Switch Pros. They were just better battery life Switches.
And that's just because they needed to deal with the hackability of the version 1 Switch.
Yeah. Well, also, I think it was cost saving to move to the newer version of the chip that was more power efficient, because they chose an older version, and moving to the newer one would have been cheaper to produce or something like that as well. Mm-hmm. So it's rumored to launch in the fall time, giving it, so like basically ready for Black Friday. They don't know what it will be called. They're going with the Nintendo Switch Pro, but they talk about what its name would be, and they say it's like unlikely to be something like the Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever.
Nintendo Switch XL, new Nintendo Switch.
It'll be new Nintendo Switch.
I would believe new Nintendo Switch.
No.
That sounds most likely.
Nintendo Switch U.
Ugh.
I would laugh. Please do.
Look, if they're gonna go with the U, they have to call it the Switch Ultra, because otherwise, it's not gonna end well.
Nintendo Switch Evolution.
They still haven't used the Ultra name back when they were going to call the Nintendo 64 the Nintendo Ultra 64, so they've still got that word in their back pocket.
Well, they did call the Wii U Wii Ultra in Japan.
Why was it shortened to Wii U here?
Exactly.
We're dumb.
For USA.
Wii USA. Wii United States. I get it now. Makes so much sense.
We are the United States, boys. Marketing is hard.
So, the direct quote from Bloomberg on this is that the OLED panel will consume less battery, offer higher contrast, and faster response time on a pixel, which, duh, OLED compared to LED is better. That's just known. The release of a more premium version of the Nintendo Switch's console with an OLED display and support for 4K graphics for the holiday 2021 selling season could drive the company's sales above consensus for the fiscal year ending March 22 and extending the life cycle of the Switch platform for many more years. And the only reason I don't believe this is because we've been hearing these rumors so much. I want to believe it, and it makes sense. The timeline's now lining up. If Nintendo's cycle is usually maxes out at 6 years, there has not been a longer platform that they've supported for more than 6 years. Now would be the time to do a Switch Pro if they're trying to extend the life cycle past 6 years. If they want to do like 8 or 10 years, they have to do 4K. Like now 4K is the standard, so they have to support it in somewhat if they want to extend this life cycle. But I don't know. I mean, Bloomberg, you've done me wrong before.
Look, I have not trusted rumors no matter how credible the source since Eurogamer said that we were going to have GameCube Virtual Console at launch.
Bad taste in your mouth?
Yeah.
Let's see. Other experts agreed with their rumored launch date of September or October. So if they're making the products in June and they're going to start shipping in July, then even so September launch should be possible. Giving the time lag from panel shipment to device production and then device production to retail, it could be September or October.
The only problem I have with that, besides not really believing that we're getting one soon, it's the reason that graphic cards and the PS5 and the Xbox Series X can't produce as many consoles as they, or produce as much as they should, because that what was that? My mind's blanking. There's
shortages.
Yeah, but there's the big shortage of that one thing that's supposed to be in the Switch Deluxe that is causing the shorts on those as well. But I can't remember what it's called. My mind's fried right now.
I thought there was a shortage on like basic semiconductor, like the materials, like silicon.
Silicon's it.
And you're right, the Switch would need it for everything it does, along with everything every other piece of electronic equipment ever made does. Because it's all made with silicon. So
yep. And there's a huge shortage, which is what's causing the biggest issue.
Yeah. And scalping is not helping that at all.
Nope.
I don't know. Like, Nintendo was ballsy enough last time to drop a console in March.
True.
So who knows? And like usually they want to start fiscal year off with something big. So it would make more sense to me for them to drop it March next year at the start of their new fiscal year.
Depending on how many units they have, yeah. Because unless you have something major, it's not going to matter. Like
now, also remember
what was the Switch
that,
Lite's
AGI Onuma said that they're going to have more Breath of the Wild 2 info later this year, and that is rumored to be an exclusive game. That's the other part of the rumor, is that the Switch Pro will have exclusive games. And Breath of the Wild 2 might be the leading game for that.
See, that sounds even less believable. I could believe they'd run better, but like there was maybe 10 total new 3DS exclusives, and some of those were like the SNES games. Like it's hard to believe they'd go, hey, look at all these fancy special edition consoles that we know you're going to buy, and then go, they can't play these new games.
Yeah, I don't know. Like they've got such a large install base, making exclusive games at this point. Like they should just make enhanced games, like PS4 Pro enhanced, Xbox One X enhanced games. Like there's no reason you should shoot your what is it 70 million? Yeah, 70ish million player base in the foot.
You will lose sales.
Yeah. But
while I agree with this, I think Nintendo has done weirder stuff.
Oh,
so
also
whatever is the most likely, I will bet against it.
Yeah, it's just hard to tell what's likely. Nintendo is not logical a lot of the time.
True.
But at a base level, we just know that rumors are usually BS. So,
True.
Anyway, on to the final topic of the show: top 3 Switch games to celebrate the 4th birthday of the Nintendo Switch. So let's go reverse. So Alex, you go first.
All right, top 3 Switch games. So I'm thought about it a lot for the 3 I picked, and I think I'm gonna go in reverse order because I really want to talk about the one I want to talk about most last. So, or at least how I wrote them down. I'm gonna do reverse. So the first one is Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Needs no introduction.
Yeah, it needs no introduction, and I don't feel like I have to talk a ton about intelligent systems defining game on the Switch.
Yeah, I mean it's the biggest Fire Emblem game in a long time, so.
And not that long. Awakening was did well enough to save the series, and that was 3 games ago.
And on a much smaller install base.
Yeah, and it was on the 3DS. And
towards the beginning of the life cycle.
I think that was the one that I almost ended up playing.
Yeah, Awakening's the one that Intelligent Systems was like, well, it's got to either sell well or this is the last game. And because of that, they were like, we're going to throw in everything. Doesn't matter. If it's a good idea, we're going to add it.
God, if only some franchises did that nowadays. Pokemon.
Heart Gold, Soul Silver still the best remakes.
I disagree.
No, but they went with that exact philosophy, though.
Right.
Just throw everything. Like, the other remake should be doing that.
So, my next game is, and I know it's probably on the other consoles, I don't remember, but it's called Degrees of Separation. It's just a simple, yeah, it's just a simple little
puzzle platformer.
Yeah, puzzle platformer, but you can work together with another person. So one of you is Ember, who's this little fire girl, and one of you is Rhyme, who's this ice boy. So you can't touch because your powers counteract each other. But you use that idea to solve the puzzles in the game.
Okay.
And every world in that game has a sort of different take on how your powers interact. It's definitely a good one. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
Alex and I did a playthrough of it on the channel.
YouTube.com/StormwindGames. Sorry.
Yeah. But like, so if she's on the water, then the water will be melted and she'll fall to the bottom. But if he's standing on it, it will be frozen.
Okay.
So it's got some pretty cool mechanics like that. All right, the last one. But I don't feel like it's a surprise by this choice anymore since Cooper brought it up. That I told him to play it is The World Ends With You Final Remix. I generally can't praise that game enough. Its soundtrack, its gameplay, its character development, its story, its art.
The music just
That's true. It's got two soundtracks with it. It's got the original from the DS, and it's got all the song. They got back like all the artists and had them remaster their songs for the Switch port.
Oh, all right then. Good selection, Mayo.
Okay. So I've got one first party one, one that I guess is second party and is exclusive to Switch, and then one that is third party that, rather than speaking to the Switch specifically, I think that it speaks to that game's, it's such a good game that it works on every console that it's on, even if, in my opinion, the Switch is not the best way to play it. I think that it still earns a mention. So the first party one that I think is absent from a lot of people's minds as far as cool stuff the Switch has done is Ring Fit. I think that they've finally landed. That's what a fitness game should be. That's exactly.
You're exactly right. That's the new standard.
Yeah,
for what a fitness game should be.
And if they made a sequel with it and they were like, we changed the wheel thing and it's a different handheld piece of workout equipment. If they made one of those like stretchy things from the like early 2000s in your exercise tapes, if they released it with one of those that you could stick the Joy-Cons into, I'd be like, yeah, it works.
$80 here, take it.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to free a demon from the video game character of this weird workout equipment, And admittedly, I need to play it more. It's a very well designed game, and it definitely doesn't suffer from, extra peripheral stupidity that I feel like Wii Fit suffered to an extent, but then, a lot of extra peripherals since the days of the Wii have just suffered terribly from their base game just not being that good, and Ring Fit broke it. The second party game, I guess you guys can correct me. Tetris 99.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's technically second party.
I looked it up and it said it was published by a specific company, or it was made by a specific company, then published by Nintendo only for Switch. Which sounds a lot like how Pokemon works.
Yeah. It specifically says in the boot up that they licensed Tetris 99 to Nintendo for it. So
okay.
Or Tetris to.
I'd bet third party, but it really doesn't matter. That's a good selection.
It's Tetris.
So I feel like its significance is, before it, I feel like there was sort of a joke about, Battle Royale's the new zombies, right? It's the new thing that everyone is going to, just shove into their game. Whether or not it fits, that's, usually it doesn't. But I feel like Tetris 99 was sort of a way that the floodgates could open, where it's like, okay, yeah, there's battle royales and everything now, but not all of them are shooters. So without Tetris 99, I don't think we would have gotten the Mario 35 thing. I don't think that Puyo Puyo Tetris would be as big as it has ended up being. So I think that it's just a very cool way to adapt the battle royale thing, and I think that it'll. This is a very bold prediction, but I feel like the like arcade game style battle royale is going to outlive the shooter battle royale by at least like 3 years. Once that fad's gone, people will still be like Namco will be like, here's Galaga Royale or something, and people eat it up. Yeah, it totally works for that. I think it's a great application of it, rather than just like, oh, new Halo coming out, I bet it has a battle royale. Yay.
New Final Fantasy battle royale?
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Exactly. And then my final one, and I might hear Grant roll his eyes over the microphone for this one, but I think it's valid. This one speaks to the game's own success. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth/Afterbirth/Afterbirth Plus.
Afterbirth Plus.
Okay.
But
it's
I'm
all
not
of
rolling
them.
my eyes. I did consider that at one point.
Okay.
But I don't know. Like, I don't think the Switch is the definitive platform for that game. And
it's not, but it still works.
Plus, like, Binding of Isaac is like a huge indie series now. Like, that game has gotten so much success.
I kind of put it on the same level. Well, it's less, but on the idea of Stardew, which is why I didn't go with Stardew.
That's fair.
Yeah, like Stardew, like Super Meat Boy too. Like, those are just like huge. They just blew up because they're so
Shovel Knight.
But Shovel Knight, yeah.
Shovel Knight.
But it is acceptable. I mean, that is an amazing game. So.
And I do think
sport.
I do think that as far as being nicer on the Switch, I think that Hades is probably going to beat it out when it comes out soon, and that's fair because it's a very good roguelike as well. But
it's already on Switch. It's just the physical version's about to drop. Like it's
okay,
true.
It's already on.
Then I'm sure it's great. I do think that the definitive Binding of Isaac version is the PC. I will stand by that constantly, but I think that what Edmund McMillan and Nicholas has done, it's going to be a very lastable franchise, and it seems it's one of those very unlikely successful things, in my opinion. Like, if you told someone in the late 90s, okay, about the gaming industry, which do you think will have the more, like, lasting success? Do you think that more people will be playing, I don't know, like sports games? Because those are kind of not a huge thing currently. I know NCAA can come back and change that, but if you ask someone, do you think people care more about like Madden and that it won't be a joke at that point, or this game about religious insanity, fetuses, Satan, and poop? Which do you think is going to be the more successful thing that works on a plethora of consoles and is consistent? At least it's consistent, I don't think anyone would choose the poop game.
Well, yeah, but is that because the time wouldn't choose it, or is that because you sold it terribly? Your sales pitch
that's what it is.
Your sales pitch was Satan
poop.
Fetus poop.
Okay, if I change the pitch to it's a dungeon crawler type game, very reminiscent to The Legend of Zelda, with a lot of cool religious story overtones that talks a lot about, religious zealotry in America and how that warps people. That's a better pitch, but I think in the late 90s, early 2000s, people would be like, John Madden football is going to be the one that lasts.
I'd probably say Binding of Isaac.
I think Binding of Isaac, especially with like a lot of the punk group people that were playing.
Wait, hold on. I want to make it clear. I'm not a football fan outside of
also, I don't think
games.
Football has ever been a big thing. Like it's after like the first time that the like John Madden series existed, like for the first year, like it's just kind of a thing now. Like
now,
if
you
announce a crazy big deal that you can play football.
But what about Mario Football? They announced that tomorrow. I'd pre-order.
You would learn football just for that.
Yeah. I mean, it's how I learned baseball.
Mushroom Circuit Curling 2021. But yeah, that's my list. Ring Fit, Binding of Isaac, Tetris 99.
All right, Cooper.
All right, so Mayo wasn't supposed to take Tetris 99.
We can share the same game.
Get dunked on.
Yeah, but Tetris 99 was my first one. It's one I've always really enjoyed. Like how Mayo said, like it changes up how battle royales are seen, and yeah,
you have hours then.
Yeah, for real. And like how Mayo mentioned, like Puyo Puyo Tetris, like one or two, both are really great games and they're honestly really enjoyable. Wait, what is this supposed to be about?
Just God.
Tough. Why they are top three? Well, Puyo Puyo Tetris does a really good job with it's just like really like story and everything. It's pretty laid back and it's honestly just really enjoyable. And then a pretty like, I know it's kind of like it's wild, but Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix.
Man,
How did I know?
Works really.
How did I know?
It works really well for the Nintendo Switch. It's honestly one of my favorite rhythm games, and top of it being one of the few on the Nintendo Switch.
You should have put Taiko no Tatsujin. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
Oh, true. That's also
drum game top tier, no cap.
Good game.
Nah,
Good
Miku game top tier.
Cameron.
Look, there's
I was gonna wait.
guys. They can both be top games for the Switch. Okay.
Wait. I wasn't done.
What?
Cooper,
Oh,
did you list
wait.
Tetris 99 and Puyo Puyo Tetris?
Yeah, I did. Why?
And
Hatsune Miku.
And Hatsune. I wasn't done though.
That's 3.
That's
3.
one.
But I wasn't done. I didn't get to talk about Hatsune Miku Project Diva Mega Mix.
It's a rhythm game.
Yeah, it's a really fun rhythm game, and it honestly is like a really nice one. It's probably one of the best ones on the Nintendo Switch because of how loose it is, and having a constant 40.
Bruh.
Oh shoot, that's even better. A constant smooth 60 FPS.
Constant
wow,
smooth 40.
60 frames
Is that what you
Alright,
did?
don't worry.
Cameron,
I'm gonna
go.
post a meme for all of you.
But
How you all feel about Cooper right now.
it does a really good. Stop. Look, of how they did it is just really fun, and it's really smooth, and it's just really enjoyable. And honestly, it made stuff like that just makes me really happy that I'm a Nintendo fanatic. Now Cameron can go.
Okay. You totally want it to be Among Us 1-2 Switch and ARMS, right?
Where's
The gun.
51 Clubhouse games?
I forgot that's a game.
What's your actual list?
Octopath Traveler. The
Great.
art style is amazing. I will say I've only gotten 30 hours in. But what I played of it is enjoyable. It has a very unique style, combat-wise, so that's part of why I picked it up. Yoshi's Crafted World I really enjoyed. The amiibo costumes are awesome. The whole aesthetic is just very fitting for Yoshi. And then I think Fire Emblem 3 Houses. I'm still staying out of the top 10 best-selling games because those don't need any help. But 3 Houses, there is a plethora of content, even if you're not going for 100%. I'm still only 2 routes in.
Well, okay then. Super quiet all of a sudden.
Surprised you didn't talk about Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Cameron.
Well, that's a Wii U game.
Well, anyway, okay, so I'm gonna start off with something that I've changed. I was gonna say Ring Fit Adventure, and I still believe it is an amazing game on the Switch. But since Mayo said it, and since Mayo argued for Binding of Isaac on Switch, I'm gonna argue for Stardew Valley. Instead,
Fair.
since Ring Fit Adventure already got its deserved mention.
This
The
indie
only
conversation is exactly the thing I wanted to foster
Yes.
with the Binding of Isaac pick.
Well, I already did. I tried to pick indie games because I just didn't want Nintendo games because Nintendo games are good. We don't need to talk
Yeah,
about that.
we know they're good.
Mostly.
Mostly, yeah.
90% of them.
But Stardew Valley is the only reason it would not be definitive platform on Switch is if you prefer playing with mouse and keyboard, which is a totally fair argument. I get that, but otherwise,
Stardew on the go.
Stardew on the go. It's so good.
Stardew
It's
on the
great.
toilet.
It's a great game to be mobile on. You can just play a day. The atmosphere is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. It is such a feel good game. It's like literally anxiety medication without actually taking pills. It is so calming, and you can just go to another world. There's so much stuff to do, and even if you don't like one of the mechanics, there's like 17 other things to do. So you can totally ignore the parts you don't like and still just have as good of a time. The developer is hands down the best developer ever, and I have to mention him whenever I can. I have to support that guy. Concerned Ape is an amazing human being, and Stardew Valley is an amazing game. So now my other two games are indie games that are Switch exclusive. First, Golf Story. I've mentioned that before. Is a RPG based on golfing, and is so much fun. I can't wait for Sports Story. I've mentioned that too. I'm so excited for that. The game is so much fun. You literally play golf, but it's an RPG. There's like a whole story involved, and you do these competitions, and like you're trying to like do good for your dad that like passed away, like become an amazing golfer for him, and you go through this whole story, and it's super simple golfing mechanics, but super addicting, easy to pick up, and overall very enjoyable. Graphics are cute. Soundtrack isn't like 10 out of 10, but it's fitting for what it is. And I really think it's good. Also, it's just so good. I enjoy that a lot. And my other one is Fast RMX, which is a launch title indie game for the Switch that has definitely been long forgotten, I think, but is so good. It's basically F-Zero if F-Zero was not F-Zero.
If F-Zero had games.
Yeah, if F-Zero was still being made. There's mechanics where you switch between you switch your car color between orange and blue during the race to get speed if you're on a blue track or an orange track. So you have to kind of pay attention to that. It's super fast, like F-Zero is. The cars are really cool. The tracks are awesome. The soundtrack is good. The mechanics are solid. It's fun to drive, and adding that color switching thing adds another little layer to it. So if you really enjoy F-Zero, that is a great way to get some F-Zero kind of experience on the Switch, and it's definitely long overshadowed now because it was one of the few launch titles on the Switch. And I got it once I had been like, I don't know, I'd gotten like 50 hours into Breath of the Wild, and I kind of wanted the break, so I found Fast RMX and played it a lot. It was like a good chaser when I needed like a couple hour break from Breath of the Wild. I'd go play that. It was so good. Solid driving mechanics, so highly recommend. And with that, that's going to wrap up our show this week.
Wait. I kind of want to change from since Mayo did. Well, yeah, but because because Mayo
you can
did
have more than 3 in your top 10, but it doesn't have to be different from everyone. Alex and I both have Fire Emblem.
Okay, but I like being different. So since Mayo did Tetris 99, I'm going to change mine to Dragon Quest. It's honestly probably one of my favorite RPGs of all time.
You played like 5.
You're recommending the mobile port of Dragon Quest on Switch?
Yes, I am.
No, we're going to change Cooper's retroactively. He's suggesting Dragon Quest 7 or 11S, the Switch.
Take that.
Wait, what? Yeah, sure. But honestly, just any of the Dragon Quest games are just really fun and great to play.
Facts.
The music's great. One of my favorite, like, just games with games with good soundtracks are my favorite. So yeah,
games with good soundtracks is.
Yes.
Okay, now with that being said, that's going to wrap this episode up for this week. We thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to comment on how you're celebrating Mario Day and your favorite Switch games in general, because we would like to hear from you. We upload every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Central Time. Share us with a friend. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube.com/StormwindGames. Follow us on Twitter @AllNightGamers. My tweets are funny. Okay? I'm sick of people not liking my tweets. I put effort
I
into those
like
tweets.
them.
You follow me.
Anger tweets.
I also harass Cameron using the All Night Gamers account, so
That is true.
you should go
It's
there
funny.
for harassment if no other reason. So be sure to follow us on there. We thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Uh,
Bye.